welcome to my show, The Middleman. Viewers, we are talking about the spousal RSP, right? So can you explain what is the spousal RSP?
Sure. Okay, a spousal RSP is a way of income splitting between spouses. So what you're always going to want is you're going to want the person who makes the most money, who has the most to save in taxes, to make the contribution. A spousal RSP is a way to give the spouse who has less income in that year the money, but get the tax break for the higher income spouse. So let's say we have higher income spouse, lower income spouse. This person gets the tax break. It's this person here, the lower income. To use the example I was using before, Mr. A is making the more money. Mrs. B is the lower income spouse. He gets the tax break. She has it. So she actually owns the spousal RSP.
So if I understand that if Mr. A has $100,000 income and Mrs. B has $50,000 income, and if Mr. A is taxed, let's say, I don't know, I'm not a tax guy, but 35% tax, then he will, she will enjoy the 35% bracket by contributing in RSP.
He will get the break, but she will get the money. So I've rarely ever seen this, but as long as the couple sees it as our money, if you've got like your money and my money, he gets the break. But for the family, they're getting a break. In the example you used, if she got the tax break, it would be about 30%. At his rate, it would be 43%. So why wouldn't they get the extra 13% from contributing
in spousal RSP?
Yeah, doing the spousal. And the fact that it's spousal means, like, if he does all the contributions in his name through all the years, he'll have all the money. But if half is in his name and half is done in her name, with him as the contributor, but with her owning it in her name, then at retirement time, they'll both have the same amount of money.
So now the spousal RSP, we understand that both spouses, lower income, higher income spousal will be the principal applicant, if I understand in layman perspective, and low income spouse will go with that. So together is a spousal RSP, getting the highest tax deferral benefit.
Yeah, you're getting the highest. Well, the higher income spouse could contribute to their own RSP. They'll get the exact same.
He can, on the top of spousal RSP, they can contribute individually.
Well, yes, because there's an individual and a spousal. Now, we talked about the RSP limit before.
Yeah.
So if you're the higher income spouse, say you're Mr. A for the example we used before, and your limit is $18,000 this year, and your wife's limit is, say, $9,000. Well, you still can only put in $18,000 between your own and the spousal. If she wants to put in her $9,000, she'll have to do it in her own name, non-spousal. So important that everyone realizes that.
Beside home buyer's plan, there is another plan that's called lifelong learning plan. So, Tyler, lifelong learning plan, just like a home buyer's plan. Can you explain this lifelong learning plan to our viewers?
Yes, a lifelong learning plan is a plan where you normally, like the home buyer's plan, you would normally have an RSP that you're saving for your future, for your retirement. However, with the lifelong learning plan, if you're in a full-time program, you can withdraw the money from an RSP, again through a special form, and take out up to a total of $20,000, maximum $10,000 per year, and then you can use that for your course.
Well, so I can take $20,000 without paying any tax and use that for my further education.
Yeah, you use that for further education, and the key is when you withdraw it, you do have to repay it back within a 10-year period.
So it's just like home buyer's plan. I have to repay back within 10 years time frame.
Yes, you have 10 years to pay it back.
So can I use that money, $20,000, for my children education?
No, that is one, it's for you. It's adults.
Okay.
And it's your own program. You can't use it for a child. A child should have an RESP or some other fund specifically for their education.
Yeah, Okay, that's a good information. Now, we discussed about the RSP contribution, putting money in RSP, and over the time, what I have done, I have contributed each year. Now, there's some rainy day. I need a fund. I don't have other means but the RSP. So if I take money out from RSP, what would be the penalty? And can I really take the money out from RSP?
Well, as long as the RSP isn't locked in, meaning from a former pension, you can take it out. However, it's often not advised. It's added to your taxable income in the year you take it out. So if you're able to take it out in a year where you have no other income, you could potentially get some out where you pay zero tax or a low rate, like 20%. However, if you have to do it, as many people I know have had to do it for various reasons, you might have to take it out in a high income year where you may pay 30, 40, or even 50% plus tax. So normally what we try to do is tell people, well, do you have any other source, a line of credit, a non-registered fund, perhaps a TFSA, perhaps even a loan from another person?
Well, loan from another person or loan from bank. Now, if I have RSP, and if I want to use that RSP as a collateral to take a loan from the bank, is that possible?
No, RSPs, you can't use them as collateral for loan. If you're going to use investment collateral, it would have to be a non-registered or a TFSA.
Okay, so that means that RSP I cannot use as a collateral to borrow any fund from the bank.
No.
Okay, so that means that if I use that RSP, I'll be penalized.
Yes, if you take the RSP, you will be penalized. Just one point though, often when you're buying an RSP, often people do this at the last minute, you can do an RSP loan in some cases when you take the money for the loan to buy the RSP there. But the opposite isn't true. When you already have the RSP and you want to secure that, it could happen, but in the vast majority of cases, you cannot secure an RSP to borrow money.
Okay, all right. So you said one thing here is a locked-in RSP. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what is the locked-in RSP?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's often called a LIRA, L-I-R-A, a locked-in retirement account, or for people who are retired, often it's called a LIF, Life Income Fund. And what that is it's an RSP, or it used to be a pension. And when a person leaves their job, they often have the opportunity to roll that into an RSP. But because it came from a pension, in many cases, it has to stay in locked-in forms. So what it means is you can have, in most cases, just about all the same type of investments within it, but you can't withdraw it to a certain age. And you also have various parameters of how much you could withdraw as compared to the RSP.
So is that all deferred pension plan?
Yeah, the defined benefit pension plan or defined contribution pension plan. When you leave a company, sometimes they don't give you the option. You can't do that option, but when you have that option, you can check that out. And in some cases, it makes more sense to hold it in a locked-in retirement account than it would be in that pension plan. So once you've done the evaluation, and it can be quite complicated if it's a defined benefit pension plan, because a lot could be involved there. But the long and the short of it is that money would qualify for a locked-in RSP.
So locked-in RSPs sound like it's a bit complicated. Now, what happens if I die?
Okay, this is one of the best benefits.
Would that roll out to my wife?
Well, let's go back to the pension. If you have a defined benefit pension plan, a lot of times, and each one is different, but if you pass away, then your wife would actually only get 60% of the money. Once both spouses are gone, there's either a very limited amount of money that would go to your kids or whoever would be the next in line for that, and sometimes it's zero. Whereas if you have a locked-in RSP, then if you pass away, the money can be unlocked when it goes to your spouse, and when that spouse dies, it's taxable, but the whole thing can be willed to your kids or whatever cause or person you have next in line. So That's one of the major estate planning benefits from a locked-in.
So estate planning benefit, state planning actually come at that point. So we will talk about state planning in some future program. There's a lot to talk about estate planning, and viewers, we will bring that program for you very soon. So let's focus on this registered retirement saving plan. And Tyler, besides RRSP, there is one product right now we know all banks and investment advisor or financial companies, they're offering and they promote, which is tax-free savings account, TFSA.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about TFSA?
Yeah, well, the TFSA came in, the first year you could use it was 2009. So this is now, people have never contributed that have been eligible, and in Canada since that time can actually have a lifetime limit of $75,500 that they can put in. Originally the limit was $5,000. It once was as high as $10,000 a year. It's now down to $6,000 a year, but the cumulative limit is quite high. When you put money in the TFSA, you don't get any tax break, unlike an RSP, but the key is no tax ever. So if a young person, let's say someone about early 30s right now has the limit, they put in 75,000, and over a long period of time it grows to 300,000. When they take that 300,000 out, nothing is taxable. Not what you put in, none of the growth whatsoever.
So the whole thing here is TFSA, if you make money from your investment, or if you invest that money, and if you make, that will not be taxed if it is under TFSA.
Yes, it will. It's lifetime tax-free, like the RSP. The important thing is you don't go over the limit.